So now let's get started with today's program, Windows IoT for Healthcare, sponsored by Advantech. Now our speakers today are Jeff Trager, Microsoft IoT Embedded Software Licensing Specialist at Advantech, and Bob King, Solutions Architect, Microsoft IoT and Servicer Specialist at Advantech. Now with that, I'll hand it over to Jeff to begin the presentation.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. I am Jeff Trager, and I want to thank you all for your interest today in our presentation titled Windows IoT for Healthcare. Once more, I'm Jeff Trager, and together with Bob King, we will be your presenters today. As you just heard, I'm a Microsoft Software Licensing Specialist with Advantech and I have over 20 years experience in the industry supporting OEMs who choose to use Microsoft Windows embedded and IoT operating systems to power their OEM products. Advantech is a distributor from Microsoft in the IoT and embedded channel, and also a rather large OEM, one of the largest IPC manufacturers in the world. This tells us here, this shows us, it's from sources IoT signals from October 2020, that at least 89% of companies today in the healthcare industry have at least one IoT project that has reached what we call the use stage. We've all seen IoT in the news and marketing from Microsoft, from AWS, and everyone's been wondering about when and where and how we can take advantage of it. And granted, it has been slow to take off, but it is here, folks. And if you're not taking advantage of it now, you should be. And if you have started to take advantage of it, you are starting to see the benefits of using IoT to power your devices and to generate better business outcomes from the use of those devices. This slide, I'd like to talk to you about the top benefits of IoT for healthcare. Of course, we're going to see the increase the efficiency of your business operations. Your employees should become more productive, and you'll be able to trace your tools, medical equipment, and supplies much more readily. Additionally, why Windows for IoT? Windows, as you know, is a very productive and very trusted and intelligent operating system. By intelligent, I mean Microsoft today, you can now bring your AI and analytics to the edge. You can do more on the edge than you've ever could do before. By productive, Windows IoT is ready to go out of the box, allowing you to quickly develop and deploy user-centric IoT solutions. You can access thousands of existing Win32 apps and leverage a huge ecosystem of ISVs, SIs, and OEMs. And you can use existing enterprise-grade device management tools to keep devices up to date and operate reliably. From a trust perspective, you can protect your devices with world-class security that's built into Windows for IoT Enterprise and deliver a predictable experience with device lockdown and other secure features. You will receive 10 years of long-term servicing and support using Windows 10 IoT. And of course, Microsoft has been a trusted platform provider for the embedded industry for over 25 years. On the intelligence side, using an Azure IoT Edge for Linux on Windows to run existing Linux AI containers on Windows is now new for Windows IoT Enterprise 2021. You can bring this AI and learning to the edge with Azure Percept, Azure Video, Azure Analyzer, Cognitive Services, and Spatial Analytics. Now for Bob. Bob, why don't you take over and talk to us about how Windows 10 can unlock the power of IoT?
Absolutely. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, everybody, for the introduction. I'm Bob King. I've been a solution architect focused on the medical OEM devices for, I won't say the amount of years, but a lot. Next slide, please. Windows for IoT basically harnesses the power of Windows and the cloud to help organizations do more at the edge with smarter devices with long-term serviceability, as Jeff said, for 10 years. The key point to this slide is the born on date of a Windows operating system. You know exactly when it's going into life. You know exactly when it's going into service. Two different dates, but the day it is released to mass production, you know these facts right off the bat, so you can absolutely control your lifecycle management. Building intelligent IoT devices empowers your organizations to build and run cutting-edge technology on a dependable and lasting Windows foundation. You can harness the reliability of Windows and unlock the power of IoT. Meanwhile, quickly creating, deploying, and scaling your IoT solution on a trusted operating system with familiar deployment and management tools, which is seamlessly connecting your devices to the cloud with Azure IoT, and tap into insights to deliver personalized experience, drive deeper customer engagement, and improve business outcomes. Some of the key benefits to Windows 10 IoT Enterprise is it utilizes bit for bit identical the same graphics and media foundations that drive Xbox, Windows Gaming, as well as regular Windows Enterprise to create rich and engaged user experiences for not only the gaming personnel, but the professional personnel in any type of imaging application. Has a powerful and familiar development tools to build and manage Windows for IoT devices. Again, 10 years life support. Important because medical devices go through a lengthy FDA process. That means time to market may be substantially longer than, say, a point of sale system. Straight out of the box, there are open protocols supporting experiences that bring Azure intelligence to Windows IoT straight out of the box. Next slide, please. Azure IoT offers a trusted technology platform to improve patient outcomes, streamline clinical operations, and optimize your healthcare manufacturing and supply chain with seamless, smart, and highly secure IoT technology. Windows 10 IoT gives you the foundation of a secure OS with long-term support and loads of manageability options built right in straight out of the box. Windows Server Update Services, or WSUS, allows enterprises to control operating updates for devices not connected to the internet. Azure IoT Hub and Enterprise Device Management will get you full device management rights straight out of the box. And the combination of Azure ML, Azure IoT Edge, and Windows AI makes it easier to bring accelerated cloud-powered AI to your IoT device. Next slide, please. So I won't read this verbatim, but in the medical environment, continue patient monitoring. A lot of this slide talks about out of the hospital walls, but in past experience, a lot of what Windows 10 is bringing to the edge is patient monitoring with newer trained medical personnel and more technology in that a fairly young medical person, doctor, nurse, specialist, can use the technology around them to dive deeper into diagnostics onto patients. Examples are Windows ML, again, out of the box in medical imaging. Azure Dashboard for one tech to monitor multiple ventilators in, say, a critical care ward. Go ahead with the next slide, please. Windows 10 is optimized for edge computing. It brings enterprise-class development tools, intelligent security, and leading-edge AI to your IoT devices, along with all the usual benefits of Windows, including exceptional manageability, regular updates, enterprise-grade support, extensive hardware options, standards-based connectivity, and worldwide partner ecosystems. Windows for IoT harnesses the power of Windows and the cloud to help organizations do more at the edge with smarter devices with long-term serviceability options for 10 years after date of release. Familiar tools enable organizations to quickly create, deploy, and scale IoT solutions, which can leverage integrated advanced features like support for machine learning, containers, and computer vision. The built-in advances in security features and available security services ensure that the entire solution from edge to cloud is protected. So recent developments within Microsoft Windows is the release of Windows 10 IoT Enterprise on NXP IMX8 ARM platforms. At Advantech, we have multiple boards that are designed with the IMX8. Microsoft and ARM both see tremendous growth pattern within the NXP ARM world. And we have options for you. Go ahead to the next slide, please.
Thank you, Bob. Now I'm going to, this next portion of the presentation, we'll talk about how Advantech and Microsoft together will be able to grow and support your initiatives on IoT. Before we start that, I've asked Bob to review one more slide. Bob, if you don't mind, this one entitled Advantech. It's the Advantech one pager, I believe you're familiar with.
Sure, no problem. I'll be happy to help you out here, Jeff. So this is a one pager kind of describing Advantech as a whole. If you want to follow along with me on this slide, I'll begin on the top left corner and I'll go clockwise all the way around. So Advantech was established in 1983. Casey Liu, who's one of the original founders, is still our CEO and in charge of all day-to-day operations. We're based out of Taipei, Taiwan. Moving to the right a little bit, as you can see, we are the world's largest IPC company. We are at $2.1 billion in revenue for 2021. We have 32% of the market share, yes, we have 32% of the market share. And if you look to number 2, number 3, number 4, they're all single digits. So by far, we've been a profitable company year over year since 1983, since Advantech was founded. It was founded primarily for an IPC that wasn't on the market, and Casey Liu and a couple other people decided they could do a better job than what the competition was doing, so they founded Advantech. To the top right corner, we have mirrored integration centers, manufacturing plants, one in Taiwan, one in China. We control all of the same exact processes in both plants. Any one of our product lines can run down either facility and be mirrored in either facility, which during some of the downturns, some of the tariffs that were imposed, we could switch products out of China and into Taiwan to alleviate some of those tariffs being pushed down onto our customer base. Our market cap is $10.7 billion as of January 2022. We are a publicly traded company out of Taipei. So obviously, by that market cap, they seem to like everything that we're doing with our year-over-year growth. We do have worldwide offices by the map indicated below with 8,000 plus employees. Other than Asia, North America is the largest population of employees with just under 1,000 outside of Asia. Out of those two manufacturing plants, 6,000 to 7,000 people are there. We do all of our own manufacturing. We do not make our own chipsets. We buy those through our partners, but board layouts, board designs, chassis manufacturing, plastic injection molding, we do all of that ourselves in-house from cradle to grave, design through end of life. We follow all the standard quality systems. They're all in place. That's just at the bottom center of the screen. That is just a quick overview of some of the quality standards, the ISOs, the FDA that are in place that we follow every day. Again, we don't make our own chipsets. We rely on our partners for that. We're an Intel partner, we're an NXP partner, we're an AMD partner, and an NVIDIA partner, and probably one of their biggest customers on a global scale. So that just means that we have decent buying power within our chipset manufacturers. And of course, as we're all here to talk about today, we are a Microsoft partner as well. We are one of 4 global distribution partners for Microsoft. We have over 2,000 standard products. So that holds up to 1/3 of our business is just off the shelf, commercial off the shelf business, a board, you buy a board, that's it, you're done. The other 1/3 of our business is deviations off of a standard board. So you want another NIC chip put down, you want a video changed from HDMI to DisplayPort. That is the second third of our business, just changing some of our COTS boards, slight tweaks, and getting them into your hands with lifecycle management. And then the third 1/3 of our business is completely custom boards. So we'll work with your engineering staff, we'll work with your quality people, and sit down and design a complete custom solution for you. And again, handle the lifecycle management, support the design cycle, as well as the drivers, BIOS, et cetera, from cradle to grave. The industry served, we cover all of the standard industries, but as you see within the industry served, healthcare is one of our top focused industries that we serve, and we work with 27 of the top 30 healthcare companies worldwide. Jeff, do you have any questions on the slide, or you want to take it back over from here?
Yeah, no, Bob, I think that's you covered it just well, except for one item I'd like to add, that in the supply chain challenges we've all seen the last couple years, while we haven't been immune to it, we have done, I think, a fairly good job of taking good care of our customers. So if anyone listening to this presentation today is looking for a second source or to want to look at other new sources, you might want to take a look at Advantech for board manufacturing capabilities and also the rest of our products that we
Valid
do
point,
build.
Jeff, and thanks for that, adding that. I forgot all about that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, let's go on to the next slide then. So this slide drives home the fact where Advantech and Microsoft live in amongst the complete ecosystem of the verticals that we support. I like to see it as a universe, a galaxy kind of thing here, where Microsoft licensing is the center point right now, along with Advantech. With Advantech, of course, we benefit from the fact that Microsoft creates great products, and we have the honor of being a distributor from Microsoft of these products into the verticals that we support. And it just so happens we support the same verticals. Advantech brings to play our value adds with integration services, our great operational capabilities, and our additional software value-added services. And as Bob mentioned, the verticals we serve are quite extensive, healthcare being one of the major ones. But I certainly want you all to know that we are also in these other verticals, including retail, hospitality, industrial automation, gaming, robotics, defense, and hospitality. Next slide. So now I'd like to talk to you about Advantech as a Microsoft software licensing distributor. You'll hear me say often we're an authorized distributor in North America. We also distribute within other regions in the world. So you'll benefit from a global presence with Advantech should you ever come to us for your Windows licensing. As an authorized distributor, we're chosen because of our expertise, in this case, our hardware expertise. The software in this channel, if you notice in the prior slide where I did a review of the Windows IoT portfolio, I always use the name IoT. That represents that we are in the IoT channel by Microsoft. This is a specific channel set up back in the late 90s, targeting OEMs who build dedicated devices. Back in the day, I remember Microsoft used the term appliances, and they also used to be called the embedded channel. Now we use the term IoT, of course, and it is for dedicated fixed function devices. Some have IoT functionality. Most and all serve an industry function, and most importantly, they're not for general purpose computing. As a result of this channel is set up this way so that the distributors are in the best position to support the customers who are OEMs. They can also be ISVs, and some enterprise accounts actually will build their own devices and send them out to their customers. So we're here to support those folks who are building dedicated devices. And of course, because we're an industrial PC manufacturer, it's a perfect fit for Advantech and Microsoft to work together. A key benefit of licensing the Microsoft embedded IoT software is lower costs due to the licensing restrictions, meaning not for general purpose computing. This is Microsoft's way of saying, since we're going to restrict your way of your usage of our software by not allowing you to use it for general purpose computing, we're going to give you a cost benefit. In addition, Win 10 IoT moved into what we call a value-based processor model. I'll describe it a little bit further on, but know that instead of what we used to call the category-based model, where, for example, Windows 7 Pro had one price, Windows 7 Ultimate had one price, regardless of the type of processor that was in the machine. With Win 10 IoT, the price of the Microsoft license is now based upon the value of the processor. Therefore, if you're using a lower end processor, your Microsoft license will be commensurate with the price of the processor, or possibly even lower, most likely even lower. Additionally, one of the major benefits of IoT and licensing with Microsoft and Advantech is the longest life cycle of any Microsoft sales channel. 10 years of life cycle for now for the modern, which we now classify as IoT. Previously, in the days of XP Embedded and Windows Embedded Standard, it was 15 years. We go to the next slide now. I want to point out the benefits of using Advantech as your supplier and your support entity for Windows. I mentioned that we are a global distribution in North America. Of course, we can handle all North American, includes Canada and Mexico. We also have rights distributed in South America and Europe and in Asia. We can also help you with logistics because, for example, you may have locations in other parts of the country where you want the licenses sold or shipped to. We can work together to make that happen. Clearly, it's obvious we're a hardware OEM first and foremost. That's where we grew. That's how our business has grown, and it still is the major portion of our business. But from a logistical standpoint, it's certainly, in vendor management, it's certainly a lot easier to have one vendor for your hardware and software. You can make sure your products are integrated correctly with the hardware and software. Of course, there's always going to be potential for you and others for needing OS customization. We have a strong team of engineers who are very familiar with Microsoft, and we can do custom images. We call it a jump start in the case of Windows, where you would provide us with your requirements. We would help you define those requirements, and together we would work together to build a custom Windows image. And then, of course, there's the licensing consultation. Microsoft licensing is complicated. It's complex. It's confusing. Myself, with 20 years experience, know that all too well. But one of the benefits of working with Advantech and people like Bob and I, we've been in the industry a long time. And we know the gotchas. We know how to advise and consult and make sure you have all the proper information to be successful. So as a global Microsoft Gold partner and distributor, we're very close with Microsoft. I myself am located just 5 minutes from Redmond, Washington. Both Bob and I have we have over 35 years working with Microsoft experience. We know the right people at Microsoft to get the latest and greatest information. But Advantech as a partner, of course, we do receive the latest product briefings and engineering support. It is very important to mention that, as Bob pointed out on that one pager, we work with leading global technology companies. They are our partners. Due to our size, we always get the support we need when we need it, and we're more than happy to do that for all of our customers. Here I want to talk about the deliverables. Some of you may not be familiar with this channel, so you don't know what you actually receive when you actually purchase the licenses. The software itself is an electronic deliverable via a download. You'll have access to a Microsoft portal where you can download the latest ISOs, or OPKs as we call them, OEM pre-installation kits. The final deliverable are the COAs, or certificate of authenticity. These are the license stickers that you would receive when you issue purchase orders for the Microsoft software licenses. These stickers, or COAs, need to be affixed to your device in a place that, should an audit occur, they can be readily seen. Each COA represents the certain OS, and on the COA is going to be a serial number. On some COAs, there will be a license key. On other COAs, There won't be if you use a certain model of activation. We call it EPKEA. They come in packs of singles, 10s, 100s, so you can pick and choose if you want 223, of course, 2 100 packs, 2 10 packs, and 3 single packs. From an inventory and lifecycle management standpoint, we will stock the inventory for every customer we work with. All we need is your forecast, and therefore you can then move forward in just-in-time delivery. If you need things quicker, we can set you up for a drop ship where we can have the license to ship directly from our supplier directly to your warehouse. One-stop shop, again, hardware, software, and services, very important to emphasize. And again, the most important, I think here, Advantech has a focused and experienced team to support licensing and technical aspects of the design cycle. From the very beginning to the very end, hardware and software, we will be there for you. We will be your advocate. We will make sure you have all the necessary information. We'll ask questions that you don't know to ask yourselves to make sure we get you the proper support, to make sure you get the proper support. Next slide, please. In this slide here are links to some pretty good resources where you can learn more about Windows IoT, Windows IoT developer resources, have a look at the Microsoft Windows device catalog, learn more about Azure IoT. So let's start realizing the benefits of your digital transformation today with Advantech and Microsoft. With all that said, now that you have a basic primer on Windows IoT for healthcare, how to license Windows IoT, certainly it's just the very beginning, but this is a great time to begin and start realizing the benefits of your digital transformation to IoT today. This slide here has a few links where you can click into and learn more about Windows for IoT, Windows IoT developer resources, Azure IoT. You'll have Bob and mine's contact information. We look forward to being able to be of valuable support to you. So I guess with that said, I'd like to thank everyone for listening in, and I really appreciate your interest in Windows IoT with Microsoft and Advantech. And thank you, Bob. And Bob, a good time for you to say any closing words, please.
Yeah, I'd just like to say thank you to everybody for tuning in. Thank you, Jeff, for the opportunity to present to the people, and looking forward to anybody that contacts us and supporting you on your IoT journey.
At this time, we do have to wrap up. Thank you, Jeff and Bob, for all of your insights. And once again, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Advantech, for their support of this webinar.